Welcome, Joe here from Scarff Ford, and we're going to do some Tesla talk today. We're going to talk about this awesome 2020 Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive that we have for sale. One fantastic battery electric vehicle, and now a relatively affordable electric vehicle. I don't get too much in the pricing because pricing changes all the time. We change our prices on a weekly basis, and you could be watching this video 5 years in the future. But generally, if you're looking for an all-wheel drive, a Model 3 long range right around the 2020 model year, you can find them in the mid $20,000 price range as of December 2024. So it's kind of funny how things have changed. A couple of years ago when I was doing Tesla videos, and Model 3s were selling for $50,000, $60,000 on the pre-owned market. But Tesla was able to start mass producing the Model 3s. The semiconductor bottleneck is over, and they can make as many EVs as demand entails. So they were able to bring down the prices on new Teslas and build millions of them, so that brought the prices down significantly on used Teslas. So before, what used to be a luxury item for a lot of people, a $40,000, $50,000 car, when you get into a $25,000 used car, that's pretty much the average price these days of a decent used car. And it's an amazing proposition for a used car. So if you've been thinking about getting an EV, the Tesla Model 3 is a great choice. It's one of the most popular EVs ever. It's pretty much the EV that put Tesla on the map. Before they were making Model S's and X's, and they did a Tesla Roadster, but those are more like hand-built specialty cars. The Model 3 is the first mass-produced EV by Tesla, and it has really changed the whole landscape of EVs. A lot of EVs have been influenced by other manufacturers by the Model 3 for very good reason. And I think a lot of manufacturers still haven't gotten it completely, the magic of the Teslas. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Teslas. I've bought and sold hundreds of them over the years. I've made hundreds of videos on Teslas, and I own one myself. I have a 2019 Model 3, not too much different than this, and I absolutely love it. The thing with EVs is that they only have dozens of moving parts versus thousands of moving parts like an internal combustion engine. So generally, gas cars require a lot more maintenance and dealer visits, where a Tesla's not so much. Your biggest maintenance item on a Tesla is going to be tires, and they are quite powerful. They have a lot of torque, so if you're really heavy on the accelerator and driving crazy, you're hot rodding it around, you're going to go through tires pretty fast. But aside from that, there's no oil changes, there's no 30, 60, 90K services, there's no spark plugs, no transmission flushes, no fuel system cleanings, no oil leaks. And that's the thing too, when you're looking at a pre-owned vehicle, you gotta worry about the engine. Is the engine leaking oil? Is it leaking coolant? Well, you don't really have to worry about anything leaking on an EV. I guess the batteries could leak, but that's pretty uncommon. And that's the other thing, is you have a long warranty in the batteries. This comes with a balance of an 8-year, I think it's a 125,000 mile warranty on the battery and drive units. So obviously it's not a full 8-year, 120,000 miles because it's a 2020 and we're almost in 2025, but it still should have a few years left on that warranty in the battery and the drive units. And when EVs first came out, obviously we didn't know how long they were going to last, but now there are millions of Teslas on the road, millions of Model 3s, and there are a lot of Model 3s out there with many hundreds of thousands of miles on them. So it's actually turning out that EVs, Teslas, are lasting longer than a lot of internal combustion cars. The average lifespan of an internal combustion engine powered vehicle is about 150,000 miles. Well, there are a lot of examples of Teslas with 150, 200, 300, and some approaching 400,000 miles on the original batteries, still running great. I remember we took in a Tesla Model 3 of 125,000 miles, and we put it through the shop. It didn't need anything. Didn't need anything in the shop. Most of the time when we take in 125,000 mile gas-powered cars, we have a hard time getting them through the shop. Usually they're leaking oil, they need a lot of maintenance. A lot of times we're sending them to the auction because we don't even want to sell it on our lot. Obviously there's things that can go wrong with EVs for Teslas, but just when you go from thousands of moving parts to a dozen moving parts, there's just a lot less to go wrong. They're very well made vehicles, and they are proven to be very robust and very reliable, and awesome propositions for people looking for a nice, reliable used vehicle. And going to the maintenance, people buy EVs to save money on electricity versus gas, but you're also going to save money in maintenance. No oil changes, And every time you go to a service department, they're always trying to upsell you. Oh, you know, maybe you should do a transmission flush. Maybe you should do a fuel systems cleaning. Well, Well, you're not going to get upselled. Tesla doesn't try upselling you on stuff like that. They have a nice mobile service, so when you need to change your wiper blades in the cabin filter, they'll send a mobile repair person to your work or your home to do it. You don't even need to go into the dealership. They try to keep you out of the dealership. All right, I can go on and on. I can literally talk for hours about this thing, but let's do a little walk around and talk more about this particular Model 3 long range. So we have this nice interior with this vegan leather. There is no actual leather available in Teslas. With these nice big glass roof panels to allow lots of natural light inside. You can get inserts either from Tesla or like from Amazon aftermarket ones that go in place when it's really bright out to cut down on the intensity of the sun. Lots of storage. And then the majority of the functionality is in this screen. And even though this car is from 2020 with over their updates, Tesla is constantly improving the vehicle, improving safety features, and adding features to the vehicle. So Tesla is constantly adding things. When this car first came out, the display looked completely different. You didn't have Hulu. I don't think you had TikTok, but they've added this with over their updates. They're adding video games. They're adding features to Toy Box, where you can play music through the horn. You can change the sound of the horn. You can make the horn sound like a fart or a goat. You can have it play a light show. You have a colorizer where you can change the color of the vehicle's avatar. If you decide to wrap it, you can have your wrap match the vehicle's avatar. You have the silly thing like the whoopee cushion. I can go on and on. But yeah, the majority of the functionality is in this screen, and it's like it was designed by Apple. It's very intuitive. You can use it to adjust the airflow, control the fan speed. You just play around with it a little bit and you'll get the hang of it in no time. It's really not that complicated. You can control the dynamics of the vehicle. You can adjust charging. So generally Teslas like to be charged to 80% with the lithium-ion batteries just for the happy long health of the batteries. It's perfectly okay to charge them to 100% every once in a while. They'll give you a warning message, but for daily use, charging to 80% is preferable. So that gives you about 250 miles, 220 miles of usable range. Outside, plenty of range. Most people don't drive more than that, 50 miles during the day. So that's plenty of miles. And then if you do need to charge, you have Tesla's amazing supercharging network, where you can get a charge of, you can charge to 80% sometimes in as little as 20 minutes. And look at, within 10 miles of us, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 superchargers. And you can just hit that button and it will navigate you to the supercharger, making it really easy. It's also always good to navigate to a supercharger too, because it will precondition the battery. It'll start warming up the battery for faster charging. Right now it's 38 degrees out, so it's pretty cold. And when it gets even colder, if the battery is really cold, it's going to charge really slow or hardly charge at all. So it's always good to preheat your battery before fast charging. And then you have an amazing trip planner. So if you're worried about the vehicle not having enough range to make it to your destination, put it in the trip planner and it'll plan the whole trip for you. If you don't have enough range, it will automatically route you to a charger and tell you how long you need to charge for so you can make it to your destination. And you can even figure out if you can make it to your destination back in a round trip without charging. So Tesla's trip planner pretty much takes all the range anxiety out of owning an EV. So on the software screen, we can see this is a dual motor. So it has a motor in the front, motor in the back, making it all-wheel drive, also making it really quick. It's like having two engines. This one has 49,953 miles. We have autopilot, which is traffic-aware cruise control, which allows the vehicle to brake, accelerate, and steer in its own lane. It's really a godsend on the traffic, and it will work pretty much anywhere there's lines in the road. You can use it on regular roads, but there are limitations. It's not full self-driving, but it also is pretty awesome in itself. Full self-driving is great too, but autopilot is remarkably awesome just in its own right. And this one has the acceleration boost upgrade. That was an in-app purchase. It stays with the vehicle. It's $2,000. It gets a software update, which unleashes more power, about another 100 horsepower, believe it or not. So that takes a 0 to 60 down to 3.7 seconds. That's pretty quick. That's sports car territory. You can put a lot of sports cars to shame in a stoplight drag race, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Pretty amazing stuff. Really nice color combination and red on this black premium leather interior. This one has the upgraded 19-inch sport wheels. And even though the Model 3 is a compact, you still have a decent amount of space in the back. Very comfortable vehicle, very spacious. generally you have more space in a Tesla Model 3 versus a comparable gas-powered vehicle, just because you have a clean sheet design. You don't have an exhaust system, drive shafts, a gas tank. It allows a lot more interior space. And you have a lot more cargo space as well. Normally there'd be an exhaust system or a gas tank here, but instead you have space for more storage. Then on top of that, we have the frunk. Normally in a gas car you didn't have an engine here, but we have more space, more storage. It's also a safety feature. You have a crumple zone that's 60% larger than the crumple zone in a gas car, so you have all this space to absorb cross energy. In fact, when the NHTSA first tested the Model 3, it was the safest vehicle they've ever tested. The lowest probability of injury out of any other vehicle on the road in an accident. So not only is this Tesla fast and technologically advanced, but it's also one of the safest vehicles on the road. So if you value your safety and your family's safety, like me, that was one of the deciding factors of me buying a Tesla. I have 2 little kids, and I thought they were cool, but also another dividend is also safety. You get in a car accident, you want to be safe, and you want your friends and family to be safe too. Well, there you have it, a beautiful example of a 2020 Tesla Model 3 long-range all-wheel drive. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.